Hello everyone and welcome to lesson number 3. Today I will be teaching you how to create inverse designs. So inverse henna designs are basically a creative twist on traditional henna patterns. Instead of using henna paste to create designs that stain the skin, inverse designs use negative space to create patterns. This means that the henna paste is applied around the pattern, but the pattern itself has no henna on, leaving the design itself uncolored, uncovered, which contrasts the skin's natural tone. Here are a few examples of inverse henna designs. Okay, we are going to start off by making a lotus design. And for making a lotus, the first thing that you need to do is make a stem. You can make a stem or you can just make it without making a stem, but let's just make the most basic one, which is basically with the stem. So for my stem, I'm going to make a slightly diagonal line like that. So basically we're making a very long triangle to something like this, and then join the two lines. After doing that, I'm going to draw a teardrop shape like a petal starting from the midpoint. So you have to make sure that the tip of the teardrop matches that of the stem so that it looks in the middle, and draw the exact same shape on the other side like that. After this step is done, whatever is going to be repeated on one side is going to be repeated on the other. So what you can do is you can mark the height of the second petal, start, something like this, and now I'm going to take a curve all the way down to the base of the first petal. Repeat that on the other side as well. Now I'm going to mark the height of the third level of petal. Let's make that now using the same technique we used for the second petal. And now the last one, which is going to be slightly below, join it with the flower and then take it all the way down to the base. So this is how you make a lotus. What I like to do with my lotus design is add leaves on the sides. So basically whatever is happening on one side happens on the other side too. And if you want, you can shade your lotus as well, like that. So this is how you make a basic lotus. So whenever you're using lotus design in either a mandala or in a bracelet, you always complement it with other elements. Other elements can be leaves that we've drawn here, or swirls. Swirls are basically like, let me draw it over here on the top. We have a curve, we have its head, and it goes all the way down. You can either join it or give it a little base. It's totally up to you. So, well, different sizes of swirls. These look great with lotuses. Or you can make a mini lotus as well, which looks something like this. You make the petal, join the sides, and then maybe draw a dot in the mid, and then just two leaves at the bottom, like that. So now I'm going to show you how to make this into an inverse design, starting off with a mandala. So first let's make a mandala design. For that we have to make a circle. Great thing about inverse designs are that, for example, if you're making a mandala and you've made a mistake or something, or it's not equal, you can always fill it up and fix the mistake. So for this, we have to place this lotus inside this mandala, and we have to make sure that it fits perfectly inside. So I'm going to start off with the base and make the stem. Oops, my line just broke. And I'm just going to go midway till the center, and I'm not going to extend my tip from that. Then from a little below my stem, I'm going to start off my base of the lotus and the full leaf and take it till the top. So the tip of my flower is at the top of the circle, the mandala. So my next level of petals are going to start from here and join the circle again like that, and then go all the way down to the base. So you see how this mandala is incorporated in a circle in the mandala design. Now we have the second level of petal over here. Again, we're joining, and we're making it intentionally big as well. The reason why we do it is because when we make it in an inverse, or when we fill the negative parts, the design looks actually a bit smaller. So it's important that you always make the design a bit bigger. And then we have the third level, which comes here like that. The tip of the petal is again touching the boundary of the circle, and then we've got two leaves at the side like that. So now you see we've got some space on this side. You can fill it up right now as it is. However, I like to always put my design inside before filling it and try to make as much as possible, because I feel like it looks better that way. So this is a lot of empty space. When I fill it up, it's going to take a lot of the focus from the lotus itself to here. So it's best that I add something here because there's a lot of space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two stems on either sides. As you know, it's a mandala, so whatever we're doing on one side gets repeated on the other so that it looks symmetrical. And we've got a leaf on top and a leaf on top. So I feel like now it's perfect. Now I'm just going to fill the negative spaces, and you'll see how this looks. So you see when I fill it up, the design gets a bit smaller, which is why you always try to make it a bit bigger than your actual intent. So this is how it looks so far. And then it's totally up to you however you want to do the outing. You can give it any of the outers that we've discussed in the mandala portion, and it's going to look good with this. You can actually also leave it exactly like this if you want, and just fill or just shade the sides of the petals to give it more depth. I like doing that. So this is how you do a mandala design with lotus. Okay, if we have to do a bracelet, how do we do that? For example, we've got a rectangular shape here. Let's just make the rectangle first, and then we'll see how to fill it up. Here we've got our rectangle. And now we have to make our motifs, which are going to be done in inverse. And and we're using lotus and leaves, and we'll probably use our swirls that we did here as well. So let's start. I'm going to start off by making small lotuses where we can make them with the stem, and I'm going to give it a little curve as well. So we've got a very small one here, but the reason why I'm not making this very big is because I'm going to be putting in more elements here. So you see over here, as this is small, I've not added the third level of petal here. So if one's here, let's make another one on top over here, and it can be in the opposite direction. So you see the tip of the stem and the tip of the flower is always in one direction. So just make sure that you have that in mind whenever you're making lotuses. I'm going to draw leaves on the sides. And I think let's just draw one here as well. And let's just take it to the side. And we've got the tip. We've got the petal on the sides. We've got the leaf on the side as well. Well, this is how it looks so far. Now I think I'm going to add my second element, which were swirls. So maybe my first swirl can go like this. Second can go in the opposite direction and can be a bit smaller. Let's make one here, a smaller one, then maybe a bigger one, and then over here we've got a lot of space, so let's do this here, and let's make in this direction. This is how it looks so far, but I feel like there's a lot of space still that can be covered with leaves. So let's just make a few leaves. Probably we can make it on our swirl or at the base. So this is how I'm going to fill my entire space up. This is how it looks so far. I think this is it. I'm not going to add any more elements, and now I'm just going to fill this up. So see all the negative spaces, you fill them up now. Now you see once I fill it up, it looks smaller than it actually was. So this is the reason why we always try to make our elements a bit bigger than the size that we actually intend to. So let's just fill this up, and then you can see what else we can do to make this better. So after this is done, you can probably add shading to give your design a bit more depth. I always love to add shading. I feel like it gives more personality to the design and more character. Probably a little bit in the swirls too. This is how it looks. So now we know how to make inverse lotuses in mandalas and in bracelets. However, if you want to do a bale design or a vine design, how can we do that? So for example, if our bale is going somewhat like this, we always first make a line to give it direction so that we know the direction that we're supposed to go in. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make lotuses all the way. So let's just, for this one, let's not make the stem, let's just use the mini lotuses I showed you before. We've got a dot here, and this is how it looks. So now I'm probably going to give it like a swirl here, and I can put a lotus on the top here on the head of the swirl, and probably make a swirl in the opposite direction to give it more variety. And then again put a swirl, sorry, put a lotus on top of the head of the swirl. Let's just, I think, repeat the exact same pattern till we reach the top, and then I'll tell you what to do next to give it a more fuller look. Okay, so if our design is still here, now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put some leaves. So I feel like over here, let's put 3 leaves here. Maybe put a circle here, a leaf here, and then even on this side, I think leaves are going to look good. And then maybe a circle. Let's do the same here. So this is totally random, and you have to see where to make the leaves or where to put the circle so that the design basically balances itself. For example, over here, I feel like you need to put something here. This part is empty, so let's just put a leaf here, maybe a circle here, and this entire part is empty, so let's put 3 leaves here, make it a kind of a motif, and put a circle here, and then maybe on top I can put leaves here and a circle here, a circle here, and then I can just see like wherever I want to add more, I can always go back and add it. Okay, so now my wine is done. However, one important step is left, is how to make it an inverse. So for making it an inverse, I'm just going to give it a very thick boundary like this. And to make it a true inverse design, make sure that you don't complete it here. You also have empty spaces in the middle here, so make sure they are filled as well. For example, over here, this entire part is empty, this part is empty. So now it looks like a true inverse design. This part is empty too. Just make sure that you cover all the parts, and then if you want, you can do shading to give it more character. I love shading, so I would advise you guys to put shading in as well, because I feel like it gives more depth to the design. Well, this is how it looks so far. So we're done with the lotus section. Let's try some other motifs now.